Alright folks, last week you saw that we installed an SC Project exhaust on our Fireblade and we kind of made it awful to ride. So now today we're going to fix it with an ECU flash that you guys have all been clamoring for. Stick around.
This bike makes 250 horsepower now, so I don't want to hear in the comments about how we didn't take it on some fun twisties, because you cannot access this kind of power anywhere but a highway. Holy crap! Wow! This is one of those bikes that you got to do the tune on this. You can't leave this stock.
Alright guys, as I'm sure you know, this is one of our giveaway motorcycles, this 2021 Honda Fireblade SP, and this thing is an absolute rocket ship, $28,000 of Honda's flagship superbike. Make sure you get entered to win it by going over to yammie.co, become a member, get your entries in to win this bad boy. Now, Spike, I see you're holding that Game Boy thing once again. We had to use that to install the flash, didn't we?
Yeah,
It's all we got.
Yeah, this is what came in the box. It's just this. It's a cable and a connector, and we didn't know what was going on. And we filmed this after we've installed the tune, and it was one of the weirdest processes I've ever gone through to ever tune a motorcycle ever.
Yeah, so let's kick it over to the clips of us actually going through and installing the tune on this bike. Get an expensive leader bike, they said. It'll be fun, they said. All right, cable's connected. Do you want us to turn the bike on, do anything?
Not at the moment. I see right there is an open port 2.0, so it tells me it's connected now. That's good, and we've got drivers connected now. I'll tell you when the power on.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, now should air out right now?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, perfect. Okay, now go ahead and key the bike on.
All right, keyed on.
Okay. The dash will start going haywire in a second here.
Yep, it's doing it.
That means we're good. Well, it means it's going good.
Yeah.
Don't touch anything now.
Yep.
That'll be splashing out a little bit.
That's what happens when you ride it at like World Superbike levels. It's just like, stop!
If only Honda had a rider that could see that.
It's true. Brutal.
So you guys gonna put full exhaust on one day?
Probably not. It's a giveaway motorcycle, so we're just gonna put that slip on it. So.
What sweepstakes is it?
It's part of the Yammie Noob channel.
Yammie Noob. I think I've heard of that one.
Yep.
Okay, now on the motorcycle, what you should do is key it off completely.
Key it off completely.
Now, it may take a couple seconds to key it off.
Okay.
Once it's keyed off, key it back on.
All right, it's keyed off. I'm keying it back on now.
Uh-huh. How's everything look?
Keyed back on. Everything looks normal.
Okay, keyed off again.
All right, it's keyed off.
Then key it back on again.
Okay, it's keyed on. Everything looks normal
Good.
again.
Okay, go ahead and fire it up.
For how long?
Yeah, just to make sure it fires up in that 5 seconds.
Okay. We're inside, so we'll do it real quick and then turn it off. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sounds like she's working.
Turns on and goes.
Perfect. Now go ahead and when you guys have time, of course, go ahead and take her for a ride. Let me know how she feels.
Sure thing, man. I guess that's it, right?
That's it.
All right, we'll take it for a ride and let you know. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Thank you.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.
Weirdest tuning experience ever.
Yeah, absolutely. That was
What the
bizarre.
heck? That was like some bootleg backyard stuff, like hack into the mainframe. Like for me personally, anytime someone's using TeamViewer on my machine, I'm like, just give me the virus, you know, like just go ahead and hack into my computer. Hopefully it works well. We're gonna see, but
it turned on and started. It seemed like it was running better than it did beforehand. So.
Yeah, it's probably gonna run better and work, but the weirdest tuning experience ever. But again, because it's like such a weird leader bike, that's probably what you have to do nowadays.
Yeah.
And you saw the software he pulled up; it looked jank as hell.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, let me just break this bike really quick and put the like, dude. Yeah, because my experience with flashing bikes is using something like this on my race bike, and someone sends you a map and you plug it in and you can just flash it yourself. It's basically the same principle, but yeah, that was a little weird. Now we're gonna ride it, see how it feels. So that was a bit of a weird process to tune this motorcycle. Had to hack into the mainframe and do all this crazy stuff. But now there's just one thing left to do, and it's to ride it and see if we have uncorked the power, right, Spike?
All 215 horsepower, baby.
Let's see how juiced up this thing is.
We have flashed the Fireblade. Everyone online told us that we had to, so we did it. I like the results so far in this short ride over here. Holy crap, the mid-range and the bottom end feels pokey. It is torque city now in the low end,
because before it was really kind of muted and sad, then you had to really wait till you hit that top end.
Yeah, you no longer have to do that on this bad boy. So we are going to get it out on the highway here, or a faster road rather. Might as well be a highway. Because this bike makes 215 horsepower now. So I don't want to hear in the comments about how we didn't take it on some fun twisties, because you cannot access this kind of power anywhere but a highway. Like, right? Like, how are you going to exploit the power this thing makes on like a very twisty
no way.
road?
You got to be at a racetrack.
It's impossible. Yeah. All right, so in terms of the ECU flash, the first thing I'm noticing is much better throttle response. The Fireblade had this kind of wet noodle throttle response because it was so neutered from the factory, but now when I blip the throttle here, it's nice and immediate, which I really like. It actually feels really different from stock. And then it's just, you know, I believe they did a 1-to-1 throttle mapping too, which is good. That's what I've done on my race bike, and the ignition just feels a little bit snappier. It feels like it picks up right when you want it to pick up. The engine still has the characteristic of being like a Giga R6, so you gotta really work for the power still, which is insane on a leader bike. And the top end rush, I imagine, is gonna be extra spicy juicy. So let's get a little sense for the blade here. Holy crap!
That was pretty impressive how quickly you just walked away.
That 15,500 RPM. That's a rush.
That's one thing the tune did,
That's
right? Is
fun.
It gave us 1,000 more RPM to play with.
Yeah, so now you can ring this thing out to 15,500 RPM.
Jeez, man.
Now, the one thing I want to feel is the kind of mid to bottom end power this thing makes. So I'm going to keep it revved here, 4,000, second gear. Yeah, it feels way stronger in the bottom and the mid-range, which is what the tune was trying to accomplish, which is really, really good. Because, man, I know you can attest to this. This bike felt like a wet noodle everywhere under like 10 grand.
Really, you could really tell how held back it was, how limited it was.
Yeah.
It felt so, for a bike that claims to be a GP inspired or derived engine. Yeah, okay, goodbye.
Holy crap! That's amazing! Oh, that's good. it just feels faster everywhere, which is what you want out of a Flash. You want the bike to feel stronger across the entire rev band, because that's what it's meant to do. I just can't believe how corked up this thing was from the factory. I know everyone said online where they were like, oh, like the tune really, really wakes it up, and everyone says that about every bike, you know, but this is one of those bikes that you got to do the tune on this. You can't leave this stock. Does it need the tune? No, it was already super fast from the factory, but the tune is molto bene. It's very good. How'd that look from your angle? Look pretty quick?
I wasn't really giving it much on the Ducati here, and then I started trying to speed up to catch you, and then I was like, nah.
And you're on a bike with 160 horsepower.
I mean, that thing,
wow,
that thing is making
great.
55 more horsepower than this is.
Yeah, that's no joke. Oh, that mid-range feels so linear and good now. That's awesome.
That's one of the important things you get from like a Spark Advance is you get those like peaks and valleys smoothed out a lot.
Yeah, it's a bummer because nowadays these bikes have to do so much to meet emission standards that half of them come with weird power kinks in the torque curve and weird, you know, bottom end issues. Like all these bikes nowadays are not where they should be from the factory, and that's just down to emissions mostly.
Yep, it's like.
But it is a little silly for Honda to sell this in the U.S. market and be like, yeah, 215 horsepower, and you're like, it really doesn't make that, you know. It's still fast as hell stock. It's not slow, but this is like another level. It has such an angry sound to it as well. I love it.
Back here when you were getting on the gas, that SC just sings so beautifully.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
Okay. You know, maybe since this bike is so expensive, Honda's working on the back end with the tuner so they make a cut out of those profits. They're like, hey, look. They're like, look, people are spending 30 G's on the bike. They'll spend another grand to tune it and fix it.
They sell their own race kit.
Of course they do. Bastards.
Yeah, I think it's like, for the full race kit, it's like $2 grand. Getting the Ducati race kit for the V4R is like, I don't know, 5 or 6. So in that case, it's not that bad.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I'm sitting here listening to you talk about all this fancy technology and all that stuff and the one-to-one throttle connection. I'm like, oh, I'm just kind of riding.
Yeah, well, we've got a fun video coming out tomorrow with some drag strip tests on both of these bikes, and, you know, we'll see what people think about the results, but I don't think they're going to like it. All right, I'm going to see if I can give this guy some room so I can just squeeze this bike one more time, and then we'll swap out. Crank it. Wow, that's nothing. There we go. Hello, power. Hello. So, despite the Flash fixing the low-end issues, this is still a super highly strung inline 4 that makes all of its power at the top end, and no ECU Flash is going to mask that. This is not going to have the same low-end grunt of a Ducati or something like that. So you still got to keep that in mind whenever you do a Flash on a bike like this, that you're not going to overcome the limitations of the engine configurations itself. So yeah, back there, third gear wide open, I was like, wow, this is... I feel like a Z400 would be faster, but that was nothing at the low end. But you got to keep it on the boil. You got to ride it a little differently. But now, since you have not ridden this bike yet with the tune, let's get you to jump on, Mr. Spike.
Let's do it. I'm very interested to see what the Giga R6 feels like. Ooh, alrighty. Let's go.
It's a race bike, dog. These ergos are so different.
Whee! That was nothing. Good God.
Yeah. So you had some time on it on the stock tune. That low end is so much better,
like
isn't
second
it?
gear is actually kind of usable now.
Yeah. It actually feels like a 1000 now, which is good. Before it felt like a 600 with cheat codes on at the top end.
Yeah,
or something.
I can kind of feel what you're saying about the. Oh, it's thinking it's being stolen right now because you have the key in your pocket. But
Oh, let's pull over and give you the key then. I don't want to hamper your experience.
That's just blinking at me. It'll be fine. But yeah, the.
Well, it might. Do you think it'll limit power? All right.
Yeah, second gear is still, you know, down this low, just catching up to these cars. There's nothing really below 4,000 RPM, like nobody's home. But you can actually sort of play with the gearbox a little bit. You still got to be like way up there to feel anything. But yeah, it's the throttle response that's the winner here, because
yeah,
that was one of the things where I was riding it around and I was like, this does not feel like a $28,000 throttle.
No, yeah, it definitely was. I mean, it's just so neutered from the factory, man.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's really unfortunate that, because you buy one of these motorcycles as just a massive flex on literally the entire planet, right? That's the whole point of buying it. And you get it, you're just kind of disappointed. Like, if it was my money going out for this bike and I'd lost all control of my life, and I was riding this around, I'd be like, no, I need to go get the Ducati.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. You need that race ECU, you need the kit, you need to get the exhaust on it, because from the factory bone stock, it doesn't really work all that well. I mean, granted, like, I took it on track, and once you're up and moving, the thing's fantastic. I mean, if you're a more discerning rider than rather just power and throttle alone, the handling is beautiful, the frame is perfect, like the electronic adjustable suspension is incredible. So, you know, there's that.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I'm looking at it through the lens of like someone who doesn't spend all the time at the track. I'm primarily a street rider, and as primarily a street rider, it was not a fun motorcycle to ride.
No, and I mean, it's bizarre that some people are willing to buy that for a street application, because Honda's like, hey, this is a race bike.
I mean, they...
But some people think that that's what they want on the street, but it 100%
they sell it with
is
a
not.
plate, so of course somebody's going to buy it and ride it on the street, right? God, it does just sound so angry, though. Like at idle.
Yeah, the idle is just like... You're like, okay, holy crap, all right.
Gotta love that.
It's that classic inline 4 bark and howl.
Man, like, once you hit 8,000 RPM, it's just like, you better hold on.
Yeah, it basically floats the front wheel all the way to 100 miles per hour in first if you let it.
How smooth the power is.
Yeah.
I'm so used to riding around on the Ducati, I keep using the clutch. I gotta remember I got a quick shifter.
Yeah.
Oh man! Oh, I need a cigarette.
Yeah. I think that's the second fastest bike we've had in the shop,
Wow.
no doubt.
Oh God. And I didn't even have the balls to go full throttle on it there. I was like 75%.
Oh, what?
Ah.
Oh, dude, go on. Just get it in second, then just hold the throttle wide open, see what happens. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, I'm gonna flip around, so we might have an opportunity to try again.
All right.
I'm gonna not do it here. I'm gonna just find a spot.
Yeah. And it's crazy because you got to keep a bit of an eye on the tachometer because those revs just go
Yeah,
so
they go
high,
high
you
and
know?
go
You
fast.
end up short shifting it. You end up short shifting it because there's so much at the top. It straight up feels like an R6, but just completely coked
That
out.
mid-range on here is just so nice. It's so beefy now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually has some meat on the mid-range, which is great. All those cars are stopped up ahead, but give it a squirt first.
I just feel it lift, and I'm like, do I really trust the electronics? And then I know I have to.
Yeah, it'll
Yep.
lift, but you won't loop.
Oh, come on. Yes.
Yes. Beautiful. You're gonna get a nice clean run on the bridge. All right, think of it this way. Do second gear wide open. I feel like I'm like the devil on your shoulder. Do second gear wide open on the bridge. You'll be going too fast for it to really lift meaningfully.
Whoa! Oh, goddamn! Oh, man. Jesus Christ. Oh, okay. One more. Whoa! Oh, goddamn! Oh, man. Jesus Christ. Oh, okay. One more. Yikes! Oh, wow. Oh, man. That's a lot.
Can you feel that increase in
Yeah, a
power?
little bit. There's a little bit more.
Just a little bit, right?
Oh, man. I buried it in second, and then I buried it in third.
So ridiculous what that thing does now.
Like, it is just a land speed missile, man. God damn.
And it's wild to think that the World Superbike guys are piloting machines that make like 240 or 245 or
dude.
something like that. That same engine, you can squeeze the 240. You run race gas, make a couple tweaks.
It's unbelievably fast.
Yeah. That's why we make fun of you guys on the internet that say like, you know, oh, like that bike only makes 187 and not 200. You really can't even notice the difference after like 190, dude.
Oh,
They're all
dude,
so
no
fast.
way. I mean, like, even the Ducati at 160 feels fast, sure. But then you add another 55 and you're like, your vision blurs. You just feel G-forces and stuff. And then you look down and you're doing some silly speeds.
I think the thing about it that's crazy when you're talking that much horsepower is the way it continues to pull and overcome
Yes.
aerodynamics after like 140 or 150, that thing pulls between 120 to 160 like a bike does between like 60 to
Yeah.
100, you know, like it can just overcome like the drag like nothing because all the top end power.
It honestly feels like, you know, when you see planes breaking the speed of sound, it feels like we have that like pressure cone up front.
Yes.
And it's like just forcing
Yes.
its way through the air.
Yeah, it's so much fun. Yeah. So guys, I think we are gonna call this ECU flash a big
Yes,
success.
very big.
Very big success. Added a lot of horsepower and juice to that motorcycle.
And I think
The only thing I would say is it ended up with a check engine light, but I'm sure the tuner can fix that for us.
I gotta go
What were
home
you
and
gonna
have a
say?
smoke, man.
You feel your
Oh,
heart rate
yeah,
come up,
dude.
don't you? It's crazy, man. It's so crazy. Remember, guys, that is a giveaway motorcycle, so you too can feel like you just had orgasmic bliss whenever you ring out the Fireblade if you do end up winning it. Make sure you go to yammie.co, sign up to win that bad boy, and we'll catch you in the next one. See you later.